To work along with this lesson, go to the work files and open the project 7C. One of the most common uses of sequence markers is to align or synchronize frames on different tracks, either for an edit or to line up sound effects with picture. In the sequence Fight version 1, scrub to about 3 seconds in the timeline. From here to the end, we're going to place sequence markers on every frame where the fighters make contact. Then we'll use those markers to play some sound effects. To save time, we'll enter timecode numerically to jump to the spots we want to mark. Type 410 and hit return. To get to the first point of impact, hit M for a sequence marker. Now be sure the marker appears in the timeline ruler and not in the clip. If you don't see it above, deselect the clip and hit M again. Advance to the next hit at 419. Hit M again. Advance to the kick at 506 and hit M. Then go to the high block at 521 and hit M. The blocked kick at 611 and hit M. The next kick at 705 and hit M. The pullback on the arm at 722. Hit M. And the frame where his shoulder hits the mat at 911. Hit M. In the browser, double-click the clip Karate SFX. Some of these sound effects are deliberately over the top, but the point of this exercise is not realism, but accurate timing of the effects using markers. Let's zoom in on this fifth waveform at around 2414 and play. Line up the playhead with the first frame of audible sound and hit I to mark an in at 2417. Mark an out at 2500. And hit Command U to create a subclip. While the name is still highlighted in the browser, call it FX1 Smack. Back in the viewer, go to 3502 and mark an in, and mark an out at 3510. Command U to make a subclip, and call it FX2 Thud. Move to the next waveform in the clip. Mark an in at 3607 and an out at 3616. Hit Command U and call it FX3 Slap. Now hit Shift Z to fit the clip to the window and zoom in on the second waveform. Set an in at 2208 and an out at 2220. Let's listen to it. Hit Shift / to play in to out. There's a whip, then a crack. Let's place a marker on the first frame of the crack. Right at 2212. Hit M. Command U to make a subclip and call it FX4 Crack. Finally, hit Function left arrow to go to the beginning of the clip and mark an in on the first frame at 1909 and an out at 2200. Hit Command U and call it FX5 Nuke. Now, in order for this to work, make sure snapping is on. The rightmost button in the timeline button bar should be green. If it's black, click on it, or just hit the N key. We want to keep our main mix on tracks 1 and 2, but let's adjust the timeline so we have a better feel for what's going on. First, disable tracks 1 and 2. Then, drag the audio vertical scroll bar to place track 3 right under the video. Let's start laying in the effects. In the following order, start with effect 1. Drag it into tracks 3 and 4, and make sure the arrow is pointing downward for an overwrite edit. Slide it under the first marker, and when you see the vertical snap to marker indicator, release your mouse. Click back a few seconds, and play. Let's use FX1 again. Drag it into position under the second marker, look for the vertical indicator, and release. Then let's add FX2. Then FX3. FX1 again. Then 3. The next one is the bone crusher, the pull back on the arm. Let's use FX4. This time, we won't align the in point with the sequence marker. We'll line up the internal clip marker with the sequence marker. You might have to release the clip temporarily in the timeline and grab again in the middle. Just look for the indicator to line up the markers and release. Finally, grab FX5 and line it up with the final marker. Click back before the first marker and hit spacebar to play. There are plenty of other effects in the Karate SFX clip. Set some more markers in the first half of the sequence and use them to add other sounds from this effects clip. Turn tracks 1 and 2 back on and play it one more time to hear it in the rough mix.